This case, heard in 1896 in the House of Lords, is a fundamental corporations law case. It tells us that a corporation has a separate legal personality which must not be confused with that of the shareholders. Mr. Salomon had a bootmaking business. In 1892 he rearranged his affairs to pass control of his business to an especially formed company. 20,007 shares were issued. 20,001 of them went to Mr. Salomon. So Mr. Salomon effectively sold his own business to a company which he owned. Now, to pay for the business, the company issued Mr. Salomon with notes called debentures, basically saying that the company owed him a bunch of money. He used those notes as security to borrow money from a Mr. Brodripp. If the company had continued to be successful, the company would have paid off the debentures to Mr. Salomon, who would have paid off his debts to Mr. Brodripp, and everyone would have been happy. Unfortunately, a series of strikes affected the leather industries and the company went from successful to flat broke. Creditors could not be paid. Mr. Brodripp could not be paid. He sued to wind up the company and liquidators were appointed. Now, liquidators basically flog off every aspect of a company that can possibly be sold, and they use that money to pay creditors. Creditors are paid in order of priority. Debenture holders come before what are called unsecured creditors. Employees and suppliers are usually unsecured creditors. Once the company was sold off, Mr. Salomon's debentures got paid. He paid off Mr. Brodripp and he kept the rest. That doesn't seem fair while his creditors went unpaid, right? Well, the court found that this was perfectly fair and that it was exactly what the Parliament had intended. The whole idea of incorporation was to allow a new independent entity, a company, to be formed. Lord Macnaghten said, "The company is at law a different person altogether from the founding shareholders, even though it may be that after incorporation the business is precisely the same as it was before, and the same persons are managers, and the same hands receive the profits." Nowadays, the law sometimes allows the court to look beyond the corporate veil, but 99% of the time, the rule in Salomon's case remains intact. Corporations are different legal personalities from their owners.